Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Ronos podcast. I know I haven't filmed in a while because this is surreal, and I haven't filmed in a while because I've been busy. I've just been busy all the time. But on today's episode, Monday, June 1st. June 1st, people. It is June finally. We got to the month of May. The Reds are looking to turn it around. We'll look at the Reds series against the Braves. We'll look at the Reds series against the Mets. We'll look at the Reds series against the Phillies. We'll talk NBA basketball. We'll talk the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll talk Major League Baseball. We'll talk college baseball. I do want to get to a trade the Bengals made a long time ago before the NFL draft. So we'll be telling about that as the show goes on. But you can listen right here on YouTube. There will be an audio version and a video version of this on YouTube later. So here we go. Welcome on in again to the Ronos podcast. Today is Monday, June 1st. The Cincinnati Reds at least win a game today. They didn't win yesterday. They didn't win on Friday. They had an off day Thursday. They didn't win Wednesday. They won Monday and Tuesday, but they did take two series. They had two series victories, one against the Phillies, one against the Mets, and then this one was a loss against the Atlanta Braves, the NL East action. The Braves, Mets, and Phillies. We at least took care of the Mets. We took care of the Phillies. And we didn't take care of the Braves. But if you were watching, sorry, I'm getting notifications about sports stuff left and right. About Ellie De La Cruz and stuff like that. We'll talk about him in a minute. If you missed it, I was on 302 Birds podcast with Jesse Sharon from Philadelphia. I'll put 302 Birds in the description below. It was very fun. I'll put that video actually in the description below. It was very fun. I got to talk a lot of Reds. I got to talk a lot of Pittsburgh. I got to talk a lot of baseball with him. But yeah, let's get to the Ellie De La Cruz injury. So we left the game early. I think about fourth or fifth inning. I was watching. I don't really know what inning, but I know he roped a base hit to right center. He was gonna try and stretch two, but if you saw the game, he was laboring his hamstring, his right hamstring. So when I saw him go down, I'm like, oh no. Oh gosh. There is no way that Ellie De La Cruz is hurt again. It's probably the same hamstring from last season that's bothered him. But what he said post game was that he didn't want for anything to get worse. He didn't want anything to get worse. That's the thing. He didn't want anything to get worse. And when I was watching his post-game press conference, or not his post-game press conference, a post-game interview with some reporters, he is actually speaking Spanish again. He had a translator, and he is speaking Spanish again. He learned English last year. He's learned English the past 2 years. He goes back to Spanish, which I'm okay with. You're speaking your native language, which is cool, which is very cool. But yeah, he says he's getting an MRI at 9 a.m. tomorrow. That's what we're hearing. JJ Bleday also got asked by a reporter the same question, how is this team gonna rally around Ellie De La Cruz? And he says, and JJ Bleday says, Ellie De La Cruz is the heart and soul of this team. Whenever anybody speaks Reds, everybody thinks of Ellie De La Cruz. But also, JJ Bleday has been on a tear recently. He's had a very, very good May. Find some stats here from JJ Bleday. JJ Bleday in the 2026 season, he's hitting .295 with 9 home runs. His OPS is over 1,000. He has 1,024 OPS. But in the month of May, I'm trying to find a stat here. Let's see. Should be a stat in here somewhere. Should be. Oh yeah, Chase Burns too. He's been on the tear. He has a 1.96 ERA with a 1.84 batting, with a 1.184 BAA and a 0.95 WHIP. That is absolutely insane for a guy who is emphatically a very good pitcher and your ace right now. He is your ace right now. Chase Burns, what a guy. He has improved from last season, for sure. His second season, and Sal Stewart had a heck of a month of March and April. And then he started falling off towards May, and then he finally got into the slumps. He's getting back at it. But of course, you've got to be a player and have a slump at some point. So yes, he had a slump, but it was amazing. It was amazing. Sal Stewart, and then Gino comes back. Gino had a back injury. He didn't return until the St. Louis series, which we lost that one. So Gino has his 4th home run on the season. He hit a home run today, actually. So that's good. I was like, Gino has not been hitting a lot of homers as he used to. He's still hitting homers, but he's just... some people would know the power hitter, that when people are power hitters, usually they try to swing for the fences. A lot of contact and power hitters would also hit for the fences, and sometimes they just want to get on base. But Gino, I feel like he is a guy that can hit a lot of homers and can definitely hit in clutch situations, but not against the St. Louis Cardinals on Saturday night. But thank God that went into extras. Thank God that went into extras. Blake Dawn gets it done in extra innings on Saturday night. But this NL Central, by the way, is a very tough division. The Reds are in last place. They're 6 games back of the Brewers. The Cubs and Cardinals are actually playing right now. The Pirates played today. They won 9-2 against the Twins. They walked the Twins off Friday night. And this division's just been tough. Jacob Mizorowski pitched today. Jacob Mizorowski threw 6 shutout innings. I don't know. They said the stat on Sunday Night Baseball. But yeah, he's allowed his first extra base hit this season, well, since April. But of course, this division is going to be tough. This is the only division in the NL that's very tough. Very, very tough. It's going to get tough. And speaking of baseball, Fernando Tatis Jr. finally hits his first home run on Saturday against the Washington Nationals. And I'm just like, finally, he's got it. But yeah, so the Reds are looking fine. The Reds are needing to improve. I would say trade away Ke'Bryan Hayes. I would say trade away TJ Friedl. Try to get a bat or so. Try to get another good power bat, or possibly another pitcher or closer, because the Reds need help right now. Graham Ashcraft's on the 60-day IL, and of course, Pierce Johnson's on the 15-day IL. And Hunter Green's not back yet. And Emilio Pagan's not back yet. Tony Santillan's falling apart. Brock Burke's also falling apart. This pitching staff has been hurt this year. But the only thing I could say about the trade, we need to get a trade going. Retrade Chris Paddack. He's not a good pitcher. Whenever he faced the Braves on Friday night, I don't think he was very good. I really, really don't think he was very good. He sucks. He's 0-7. I think he has an ERA over 7. But it's not great. I would say so I would trade back Chris Paddack, maybe trade Brady Singer to get another arm or another bat, but definitely trade Ke'Bryan Hayes away, TJ Friedel away, because I think he's done. He's done. So yeah, trade those two away for bats, and then trade away Chris Paddack again, even though you got him in a trade from Miami for Rhys Hines, but you've also got to get another power bat, like another power contact bat. And of course, another pitcher, like a closer, like that one true closer, like a Johan Duran, a Aroldis Chapman, any of those guys. But I don't know if Johan Duran's going to be on the market from the Phillies. I don't know if Aroldis Chapman is going to be on the market from the Boston Red Sox. But just try to get a formidable closer or some sort of relief pitcher that is really good. Pierce Johnson's been doing really good, but he's on the IL right now. Graham Ashcraft's also been doing very good. He's on the IL. A lot of our pitchers are getting hurt. Hunter Green, he's trying to make a comeback. Rhett Lauder's trying to make a comeback. It's just a lot of injuries for the Cincinnati Reds. Noelvi Marte got sent down because he was in a slump. But my big takeaway from the minors is, of course, Edwin Arroyo. He is a very good player. He's been hitting a ton of bombs, and he's a very good speed player. I would say if Ellie's going to be down for a couple of weeks, like if it's that bad, but I don't think it's that bad. He won't be out for a couple of weeks. I'd say he'll be fine, but it depends. Like if you're down the third baseman, like say Gino goes down, and you try to recall up Ke'Bryan Hayes. No. Call up the superstar Edwin Arroyo. He's been doing very good down in AAA with the Louisville Bats. He's been doing really, really good. So I would say bring up Edwin Arroyo to be your third base or shortstop guy. And he can bring power, he can bring speed, he can bring contact. I think that's the guy who needs to be brought up for the Cincinnati Reds, of course, in the minor league system. Even though that Noelvi Marte has been hitting bombs in the minor leagues, I don't know if it's going to be enough to get him back up into the Reds ball club. So the Reds, I think they just need another power bat, a power or contact bat, and a closer or another reliever, because this pitching staff is getting hurt left and right. All right, I'm done talking about the Reds. On to some NBA basketball. NBA playoffs are about to end. The NBA Finals will take place on Wednesday, June 3rd. June 3rd at 8:30 on ABC. And it will be the San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. The Knicks, they had a road to get here. They had to do, I think, 7 games with the Atlanta Hawks, or maybe 4 games. I don't know. But, of course, and then they swept the 76ers, and then they swept the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers just folded under the pressure. And Jalen Brunson's been doing very well for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and OG Anunoby been doing very well. But a sweep for the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. But the Western Conference Finals, man, oh man. OKC loses their first Game 7 since last year, since their title defense. So, OKC lost 111-103 last night to the San Antonio Spurs in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. Wemby is an absolute beast. But this Spurs team is looking very well, looking very dominant. And SGA said this last night in his post-game press conference. Whenever they went to go shoot a basket or make a basket, the San Antonio Spurs always had a response, and they always did. Wemby could shoot threes, Stephon Castle can shoot threes, De'Aaron Fox can shoot threes, Dylan Harper can shoot a three. But I feel like a lot of these guys, a lot of the San Antonio Spurs, they're young. They're a young core that are looking for more. And I feel like they could win the NBA Finals against the Knicks. Could the Knicks fold under the pressure? Possibly. But I think the best way for the Spurs to win this series is to have Wemby go off. Wemby could decline. Wemby could go higher. And of course, the Knicks have had a lot of time to rest and to think about this. Because here's why. The Knicks swept the Cavs. And now they had to wait on the Spurs and Thunder. So now that the Thunder and Spurs series is done, now they can focus on the Spurs. The Knicks can focus on the Spurs. The Spurs can focus on the Knicks. Knicks, this is actually a replay of the 1990 series, maybe? I don't know. Someone fact check me on that in the comments or something. But yeah, it's been looking very, very good for the Spurs. And Wemby is doing very well. Of course, Dylan Harper is now becoming a shooting star. De'Aaron Fox from Kentucky is doing well. But SGA and Cason Wallace were very good last night, of course, too. But the NBA Finals are set. It is going to be San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks on Wednesday, 8:30 on ABC. I might as well tune into that one because I am going to see a very good show. The Knicks and the Spurs are very fun teams to watch. I love watching the Spurs, too. Like, I'm not a fan of any NBA team. I'm just an NBA fan. I love to watch the NBA. But even though I don't talk about it much, I still love watching it. But I feel like now I can start talking about it because we're closer to the finals. But if you want me to start talking more about the NBA, drop it in the comments below. So, the San Antonio Spurs are a fun team to watch with Dylan Harper. Of course, Victor Wembanyama. De'Aaron Fox. And of course, all their other players. They are such a good team. Young core, looking for a title since 2005? I heard that right? Maybe? I don't know. But I'm thinking 2005. I'll look it up and I'll share something with you on that. But it is looking very good for the San Antonio Spurs. They have all the momentum going into the finals, and so do the Knicks. Like, it depends on who wins the first game, who has all the momentum going into the second game of the series. And I feel like this could either go 7 or 6. It's going to go 5, 7, or 6. I'm not saying 6-7. Do not make me say 6-7. I said it anyways. Screw it. But yeah. I feel like this series is going to be competitive. It's going to be a back and forth series. Knicks are going to have some gut punches. Spurs are going to have some gut punches. But I think, here's my prediction. The San Antonio Spurs win the NBA Finals in 7. The Spurs win the NBA Finals in 7. And once the NBA Finals is over, I'll have a look back on this video. And if I'm right, I'm right. But if I'm wrong, so what? Let's talk about some NFL news because I want to talk about this trade. All right, NFL talk, and before I do NFL, I want to do a UFL update for you guys. The Louisville Kings, the new UFL team, in their first year have already made it to the playoff. They're in the playoffs. They're going to go against the St. Louis Battlehawks June 7th. The St. Louis Kings the Louisville Kings in their first year of UFL play are going to the playoffs, and I like this Louisville Kings team. Not like I like any more Louisville teams, like their college teams, or I only like the Reds baseball organization down there with Louisville AAA, and of course, Louisville Kings UFL, because there's no football in the spring except for UFL, but the Louisville Kings are heading to the postseason for the first time in their first year in the UFL. But let's get to the NFL now. The Bengals. It's been a very interesting free agency and trade deadline. Free agency, trading. I cannot talk today. Free agency, trading, and of course the draft. Let's talk about the draft first. Even though I didn't do a draft special, which I sometimes usually do. Jeremiah Love goes number 3. Jadarian Price goes number 32. Two players from the same team were drafted in the first round. That is the first time in NFL history that's happened. The first time in NFL history. It really is. But the Giants, I'm getting to it. But the Giants got some key pieces with their picks. I think they got the 5th and 10th pick. I'll talk about the 10th pick in a minute because the Bengals did have it, but they traded it away, which was fine. But the Giants did add some key pieces to their arsenal with their quarterback situation and their defensive situation and their wide receiver situation. Jackson Dart is definitely going to be this. I'm talking too fast. Jackson Dart is going to be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. And it's going to be chaos in New York. John Harbaugh got hired after being fired from the Ravens job. And Zach Taylor is the only remaining AFC North coach from last year in that division. This division could go either way. It could go the Bengals' way, it could go the Ravens' way, or hell, it can go the Steelers' way, because Aaron Rodgers is coming back for another year. But I would say the Bengals are probably going to win this division. The Ravens are going to be coached. The Ravens, they're going to have Lamar Jackson still, Derrick Henry still. They're going to have all those key pieces still. Of course, they have Trey Hendrickson, which is fine because the Bengals traded the 10th pick with the New York Giants to get Dexter Lawrence, defensive tackle. He's the inside guy. He is a guy who can stop the run and help this defense get better. Of course, the Bengals added free agent Brian Cook, and they added Boye Amafe from the Seattle Seahawks. I think this defense is going to be better than last year. And of course, the offense is probably going to be explosive, like it always is. But a lot of people say Super Bowl or bust for the Bengals. I think it's win. I definitely think it's win. It's definitely win or Zach Taylor's fired. Win now mode is definitely on key. Definitely on point. But of course, Zach Taylor's job is hanging in the balance this year. It is. Because if the Bengals suck again, he is fired. He is gone. He's definitely gone next year. But I hope that the Bengals, with the pick, or with the defense they're getting, and Cassius Howell is a very good addition to the defense as well from Texas A&M. But also, I think that the Bengals are going to need some other key pieces, like the running back position, no wide receiver position, maybe tight end, maybe O-line. But of course, Joe Burrow is going to be looming in the question. Is Joe Burrow going to have another healthy season? Is Joe Burrow going to be healthy all season long to lead the Bengals to the postseason again and hopefully lead them to another Super Bowl? But I'm looking at this. Let's just look at this as the Bengals need to get through the preseason, and then we'll take it week by week. How about that? But the Bengals take it week by week, of course, and yeah. But the Bengals need to take it week by week. Us fans need to take it week by week. I've seen all the expectations for the Cincinnati Bengals, and people are saying, "Oh, we're a Super Bowl team this year. Oh, we're going to be a Super Bowl team this year." I don't know that. I even said we're probably going to be a Super Bowl team this year, but now that I'm seeing the bigger picture, it's going to be very tough for the Bengals because they're still in a tough division with Myles Garrett, with Trey Hendrickson now, TJ Watt still, but they got Dexter Lawrence, so it's going to be a division of defense. It's going to be a division of defense, but there's only going to be one team that might have the explosive offense, and that's definitely going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. So, I'll predict the Bengals' record soon because I feel like that their schedule is going to be very good next year, even though they do have the third easiest schedule. They are playing a last place schedule because they were last place last year, but I feel like that this Cincinnati Bengals team this year in win now mode is definitely going to do it again. I think they're going to win the division. It could go either way. Bengals win the division. Ravens win the division. Heck no to the Browns. They are in Brownatory, like purgatory for Browns fans. But yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know what the Bengals. Well, like all Bengals fans will have high expectations, and then it comes crumbling down. So, you don't know what to expect with the Cincinnati Bengals, but let's just get through the preseason. Let's get through OTAs and two-a-days and training camp and all that. Let's get through that. Let's see how this team looks heading into week 1 next season, and then we'll start having the Super Bowl discussions. Maybe after the postseason's over. I don't know, but we will definitely see with this team. So I'm hopeful the Bengals make it back to the postseason again because we have had a slump of not making the postseason because we've been absolutely horrible. Horrible. We've sucked. Of course, fans want expectations of winning football in Cincinnati, and I feel like Cincinnati's going to turn a corner. With the Reds, they're doing really good. Bengals, they're going to do good next year. FC Cincinnati, I don't know. I don't know about FC Cincinnati. I think they're doing fine, but it's going to be a turning point for Cincinnati fans in this, like around this area, around Northern Kentucky, around Cincinnati, around Ohio. Like if you're a Reds fan, if you're a Bengals fan, you're going to be excited for this season for the Bengals. Of course, you're excited for the season for the Reds. I was excited when we got Gino back. I was like, oh my word, this is going to be a fun year. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, that's all I got. But NCAA baseball news: Kentucky is up 7-6 against West Virginia in the top of the 7th. Last time I checked. UCLA goes down to St. Mary's, so the top team is eliminated. It's March Madness all over again. St. Louis Cardinals are up 5-0 against the Cubs. The Cubs have had terrible defensive plays. Dansby Swanson made an error earlier. The Cubs have just collapsed in this game. But thank you guys again for watching. I'll post my post-game show. I'll post a post-game show with Jesse. I was actually on their channel. Go subscribe to 302 Birds, by the way. They're very good. Very good. Very good organization over there in Philly. So go subscribe to them and go watch that video. I'll post it down in the description. Love you guys. See you next time.